Nothing. Hey, everybody, it's Medium Brandon Russ. I hope you're doing well. We're into a little shuffle up and heel today. What's going on? How are you guys doing? What are you up to? How do you feel? I still don't know why it does that over there on the Lady Am. Good to see you already. Boy, you guys were hanging out waiting for me, huh? I'm getting my website up here for a couple of different reasons. First and foremost, hey, Kelly, how are you? Yeah, that's not right. That's not right at all. I'm going to put my own comment in timeout. Block my own user. Don't do that. Hi, Emily. How are you? How about that for energy there this week? A little bit of a kumbaya moment going on right now. A little bit of a cool, respectful, kind of like you got a couple of things going on. I am going to pull up a chart here, and I hope you guys are kind of okay with it. I'm going to take a look at a transit that's coming up here in a couple of days, actually. And, I'll show you guys a little bit of astrology here. And, boy, Pluto is really taking a front and center. But Venus being in opposition here of Saturn. Anybody's love life been turned upside down, or maybe it's a soft landing though. I got to tell you, I know people don't like it when I say stuff like that, when it's like, oh, it's a soft landing. And you're like, but I loved him. And then I go, yeah, but it's not really that big of a deal. Like, it's just kind of like you move into a new understanding sometimes. Hey, Paul, how are you? Roseanne, how are you? Good to see you. Judy, thank you for my rose. Happy to be here too. Well, a couple of things we know right here out of the gate. We're on the right side of the earth right now, right? That is above ground. Hey, Megan, how are you? Holy Toledo. Hey, I'm going to talk about this a little bit too, but I'm taking my dad out to Minnesota. We're going to go see his family. So Daddy Rabbit is going to be in his glory at the Minnesota State Fair in just a couple of days. Yeah, so many kids. Listen, born and raised Irish Catholic, you're going to have kids. Like, it's a standard issue. I don't know if you have to work this out with your guides or whatnot, but you're going to have a couple. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I love that stuff. So yeah. So listen, I'm going to go dark here for a couple of, for almost 2 full weeks, probably till after Labor Day. We're doing a guys trip out to Minnesota. We were originally, of course you love it. You're built that way. We're doing the guys trip out there. We were originally going to drive, which was going to have its own fun. And then I started to realize, I'm like, if I start adding up the cost of a car plus blah, blah, blah. And then I said, yeah, you know what? I think I'll see how much the flights are. And, I travel all over the world. I have a YouTube channel, as you guys know. I travel the world, all this other stuff. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Colleen, good to see you there. And so I started weighing my options. I'm like, oh my gosh, we can get there. Almost kind of, a couple hours flight as opposed to staying in another hotel and feeding them. Like, that is the one thing as a parent they don't really coach you on, how much food costs. And of course, it's out of control right now, which we're going to have a little fun with all of this political stuff. And if you haven't seen some of the videos that I've had, or you haven't seen some of my posts, it's just pure comic gold. And those of you that don't realize that when I posted, I posted as an agitator to start the conversation. And my agenda is very much about making sure that we understand that it's an energetic movement right now. There is an energetic movement going on right now. It's not political. It's getting captured by politics, but it's an energetic wave. It's an energetic wave of saying, that doesn't feel right. And you can call it a snowflake. You can call it weak. You can call it whatever. But at the end of the day, what I think is really happening is there is a plethora of validations that are going on. And we're going to take a look at astrology for a couple of minutes here, just for kind of funsies. Oh my gosh, like you guys are showing up today. Look at you go. Look at you go. Happy healing to all of you that are going through things you can't really talk about. Happy healing for those memories that like hit you from out of the blue, and you're just like from out of the blue. We had a power outage yesterday, and oh, there you go, Kevin. Good to see you, bud. Yeah, the food costs. You may have to sell a car, kidney. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm mitigating that by saying I'm good for the one big meal. Like I'll do one big meal, and then they have X amount of dollars, and then that's it. That's how I mitigate it. And one of my cousins is connected to a company that's involved with the state fair, so she's able to kind of get discounted stuff, which is the only thing that makes it affordable, to be honest with you. Hi, Aaron. How are you? Affordable enough to maybe go twice while we're there for the 9 days. No, Lady Ann, you're not invisible. I said hello. Hi, Lady Ann. Wow. Somebody's coming in here, saucy jaws. I like it. And hi, Pauline. How are you? I'm catching up. I'm trying to multitask, and I don't have my glasses. My glasses on, anyways. And it's important to me, and if you know my backstory and you've been involved, with the channel here for a little while, part of the challenge of why Whiskey and Bagels needed to kind of go, get put on permanent hold was I just had so many obligations with what's going on with my parents and and the kids and everything else. And it's not even like it's any one particular thing. I'm just like, it's just one more thing and I can't do it right now. And, you get ahead of it and everybody starts getting healthy, and my own health, forget about that. Yeah, it really is a long time. Thank you for reminding me. So when I went from driving, thinking I'm going to need 2 days to drive and then 2 days to get back, the thought of driving back for 2 days was what was killing me. Like driving out there, it's kind of like the wheels on the bus go round and round. And then as you're driving back, it's like, so help me God, I will not only let one of you off who has to go to the bathroom and never get back in this car. Like it's one of those where you just start to go like, oh God, I was dreading it before it started. I'm like, that's going to affect him. And then I'm like, yeah, I'll look into the flight. Well, since I travel so much, I was able to get really discounted stuff, with Southwest, and, for all their flaws, they've done me right time and again. And the idea of flying out there was really appealing. I'm like, I can do this somewhat reasonably, and we can touch base and we can land and everything else, but I didn't adjust the number of days. Kimbers, how are you, kiddo? A TBR shout out. Yeah, hey Francesca, how are you? Rita, how are you? Twice in one day. Look at that go. Aaron, I think I said hi already. I don't mean to miss anybody. But it's I'm excited about it. I still have class next Tuesday. I've got it arranged that I'll be doing the class. I'll be setting up the class and doing that and doing hellos. With that, and it's funny, in today's class we were actually talking about, we did a oh, hey Black Bell, how are you? Mama O, how are you? You're wearing flannel already. Yeah, it's coming. Hey Bubby, how are you? It's funny, it's starting to change, but I'll tell you, it looks like we're going to be going to the Minnesota State Fair. And by the way, I know that there's a bunch of you that like tune in from the Twin Cities. I know you do, right? I don't know which one of yous are, but I know there's a few of you. And listen, I'll be at the State Fair on the Sunday. And listen, not for nothing, if I see that Tim Walz guy, I'm just going to put him in my pocket and take him home. That's just what I'm going to do. I don't even care for all of his politics. I just think he's adorable and I need some lawn work done. So I think I'm going to say hello and, kind of say a quick hello. And it's, I'm all about the, we'll be taking in the cheese curds. We'll be taking the Pepsid, we'll be doing that day. And then we'll also be we'll be padding it with a little bit of salad the night before, maybe some fruit in the morning. We're gonna make sure that and then we're gonna eat 2 to 7 pounds of cheese. I mean, I know what that's about. Um, I've got some surprises that I'll be able to share with you guys while I'm on the road. Um, if you're not involved with Instagram, go ahead, jump on there. I've got some stuff there. Our Minnesota cherub, big love. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and listen, I'm coming to find that a lot of my relatives are not fans, and that's okay. I appreciate that. I have no problem for a good conversation. Hey, Kathy, how are you? No, you're here on time. You're here on time. Hey, Callie, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there is a more perfect food than cheese curds. And this is part of the reason, when you look at the political reasons why you chose Tim Walz, it had everything to do with Wisconsin. It really did. I mean, they're like, oh, you didn't pick Josh Shapiro because of, and he's Jewish and blah, 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 blah. Whatever derogatory statement they can come up with, that's the best that they can do. Tim Walz was the most likable candidate, and he polled on a state that Pennsylvania probably will go by way of Republican. Like that's just it's just the way it is. Like I mean, they are just embedded there. The dude got shot there. Okay, you want to pull that? You want to pull that? Go ahead and pull that. And you want to grift on it? Go ahead. We're going to take the guy from the other swing state, right next door. And by the way, it goes Minneapolis, St. Paul, Wisconsin. That's how it goes. It's like in a straight line, eh? And you go out to Eau Claire. Eau Claire's not far. Eau Claire's a quick jet. Well, you can get there. Well, how quick you want to be there? That's the question, eh? I got to work on this accent before I get there. And listen, the beard and the hair and everything else just kind of goes together for him. That's the part that everybody kind of loves it. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. Kelly is giving Lady Ann cheese curd tips. Talk amongst yourselves. Follow me for more recipes. By the way, so what are cheese curds? Well, you're probably wondering. So you have like a wheel of cheese, right? That's usually when they mold it into a wheel because that's the basis of it. And they may wax it. They may put it into like oak barrels and that sort of thing. Hey, Pamela, how are you? And with cheese curds, now it sounds a little gross, right? But it's somewhere in between. It's a certain amount of fermenting along with the water and that sort of thing. Now I'm sounding like I'm from Rhode Island. My gosh, I sound like my therapist. But basically, in a nutshell, it literally is a curd. Like it curds in whey. Well, it curds into like a little ball, like a peanut shaped, kind of thing. And they scoop it off the water because it congeals, but it doesn't stick to the other ones. But it just kind of like you find your own little curd home. And from there, well, you can just put breading right around it and dump it right in there like it's a fried dough piece of love. I mean, listen, I may or may not have a date with a corn dog. I'm just letting you know. Cheese curds and corn dogs for 3 days straight? I don't know. Don't knock it till you try it. I got a clean bill of health. He told me I got the rest of my toes still on there. A little bit like mozzarella balls. Not drier. Drier. Oh my gosh, that's right. Kevin's out that way. I'm not gonna blame him for becoming a Green Bay fan, although he's kind of Buffalo forever, isn't he? Go Bonnies. Hey Emily, how are you? And by the way, guys, thanks so much for the ones that are subscribing to the channel and doing the back end support stuff. I appreciate you guys. If you you need to squeak on your teeth, yeah, the cheese curds literally will squeak on your teeth. It's a little weird. You might have a nails on chalkboard effect. But yeah, totally. Just as a heads up, guys, total self-promotion. I have my fall schedule out now. And actually, I have September and October. I have 15, 16 events. Most of them are local, but to you guys on the national level, I have 2 message circles, virtual message circles. They're a lot of fun. We have a great time. It's a finite number of people. It's between 12 and 15 people. And everybody gets read. We have a good time. I do deliveries. I might break out tarot. I'm going to have Let me pull your astrology chart. It's a good time. It's a good, fun time. Um, so I'm doing that. I mean, if you're local in the Capital District, you can certainly jump into it. But I wanted to make sure that I had some events because I'm not actually traveling this fall because I'm doing this big trip right now. I will, however, the tentative dates for some things. Texas. I'm falling in love with Texas, guys. I'm just letting you know. Um, Never thought I would. Never thought I would. Here we are. Um, Houston, Galveston, Austin, lining up some stuff that way. Fort Worth, Dallas, yeah, take it or leave it. Depends on how you do in the standings. In Florida, I'm going to continue the. I don't think. Hey, Dad, are you watching? Tell me if you're watching, Dad. He's not. I don't think he is. Anyways, my Florida trip will be during spring training. Piece that together. That'll be in March. The Carolinas, I know that we had talked, some things kind of fell through with that, and I thought it was better. I'm packing a lot in here. I also have a couple of more spots left on the foliage retreat. If you haven't been in upstate New York in October to experience the leaf change and the change of season, this is a great. Yes, Janet. Oh yeah, Dad's here. Okay, all right. Shh. Hey, Megan's here. Megan DeWitt has a different name now, Dad. Megan DeWitt has changed her name. Forget it. It's Megan. And she calls you Daddy Rabbit. So, anyways, what was I going to say? So, Florida is probably. So, I'm going to have another book out. I'm going to have one book coming out in October, which is an aggressive timeline because I'm just finishing it up now. Daryl, the editor, is like pulling her teeth out with that. But I'm going to have one out before Christmas and then still working on the Oracle deck. And then next year, I'm going to have the return on energy, which will make a lot more sense after this election. And you're starting to see some of the things that I'm about to talk about kind of really happening. In case you haven't noticed, there has been a shift. And I'm just going to put up my website one more time. Oh, by the way, I also have new pricing. I dropped all my prices. I cannot simultaneously say what gives with all of this. What gives with all of this inflation and then not and say, well, we're posting record profits and blah, blah, blah. I had to look at myself there with that, and be like, okay, how am I doing? What am I doing with this? Where are you doing the work that you're supposed to do, or is it whatever? And sometimes when you raise your prices, it's so then you can do less, so then you can do more in other places. And that was definitely part of it, but dropping it by $100, I hope it becomes affordable to everybody. I think we're all kind of feeling it in some way or another. And again, I'm not wanting for anything, but it goes a long way. It goes a super long way. So home party's still available for that stuff. I've been super busy with that this summer. I've met so many incredible, awesome people. I've gone on little adventures with the boys. It's kind of been fun. We've had a good time with this. Lady Ann, whereabouts out west? Because Colorado and Sedona are on the mark next year. California could always happen too. And I think I might get out to Minnesota again before the end of next year. It's kind of a no-brainer. Once I go out there for the fair, I'll be like, it's the only place to get cheese curds, my friend. Do you like cheese curds? I like cheese curds. By the way, that's just kind of Oregon. As a matter of fact, I have been in a running dialogue with an old friend of mine who's a musician. And she has been asking me tenfold. We were trying to organize this event. She had done and hosted events before. She's a recording artist. She's somebody that you might know if you're out that way. And she and I still have continuous dialogue. She was in New York City and ended up with COVID. And, we couldn't meet up and all this other stuff. And I just feel a pull for that. Oregon is still in the mix and in the running. So there's just only, I have to travel in a very particular way, not only for my gift, but also so that I can still manage everything. Because last night I was here until 2:30 in the morning because I'm a one-man show. And if you take a look at the website, go ahead and take a quick look at the website and be like, Brandon, that's a beautiful job. You did a great job, Brandon. I could use that. Yes, Janet, Florida. But Texas and Florida are definitely on the board. Everything else is going to be a moving target. And Sedona will definitely be a retreat next year. I've been away from it for 3 years now, and I miss it. So, and look at this, Kelly doing some recruiting over on YouTube. Minnesota State Fair, largest fair in the U.S. by attendance. No rain expected Sunday, but could be 91. If you need shade, just let's just don't be political. Don't be political. Just talk to a Republican. Don't throw shade anytime you want. Anyways, that's awful. I can't believe I said that. Las Vegas might be an overnight. You know what I'm saying there? Yeah, I go to Las Vegas when nobody's looking. So, and by the way, if you haven't read my book, yeah, it's a little warm, but if you haven't, yeah, Dad, you'll burst into flames. If you haven't read Funny You Should Say That yet, now's the time. It really is. Amazon.com, type in Brandon Russ. I come right up. Funny You Should Say That. I'm in a couple of different books. I'm going to be doing some signings here in upstate. And the 10th House Publisher, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I own a publishing company. And my first book was not put out by that publisher. I went through a third party, had a not great experience, and that is why you can. Hey, Paul, how are you? Patty, good to see you. Had a not so great response because I needed some things changed, and they said, well, we're going to go ahead and throw that. Hey, Carolyn, how are you, love? Emily, are you asking about Audible? Well, Audible has just renewed. I've just renewed with Audible is a sponsor for the podcast that's going to start after Labor Day. So yeah, one of the requirements for me to fulfill the sponsorship is for me to get my book on there. I've been recording it for almost 2 years. True story. Amanda, good to see you. Speaking of retreats, Elizabeth, good to see you. Hope everything's going well. Black Bell's getting in trouble at work. Fantastic. Carolyn's just getting out of work. Thyson, good to see you, Sin. Good to see you. By the way, I hope you read the book. You're in that. Yes, it is recorded in my voice. That is going to be released in the fall as well. So, guys, there's like so many like fun small projects that are just kind of building up. And by the way, I don't know who's in Troy, New York that just went to my website, but thank you very much. By the way, they don't tell me who you are. They just tell me where you're from. Oh, you're still at work? MJ, thank you so much. Take your time, no rush. Oh, that sounds like Irish sarcasm. Speaking of Irish sarcasm, let's take a look at the charts here, because I think that you guys are going to see this. And this transit that's going on right now, let's take a look at the sky, right? Hey, Laura, how are you? Yeah, Kelly, go look, go help her out. So I want to point this out. Let me be an astrologer for 10 minutes here while I talk about this. So you have two very distinct things going on where you are forming a T-square with Venus to Saturn, and the T-square is coming from Mars conjunct Pluto. What does this mean, Brandon? It's all a bunch of gibberish if you ask me. Well, you have Saturn sitting in Pisces, which is up is down and down is up. You have Venus in Virgo saying, show me, don't tell me. And then you have Mars and Jupiter in conjunct, basically going, if you want to do it, it'll be good. Go ahead and jump. David Lee Roth, just go ahead and jump. and it allows the right energy to kind of be like, it's a very kind of like trine, but yet T-square. Trines are great. T-squares are like, we're going to make this happen. So the opposition of Venus and Saturn is very much looking at your structure with what your relationships are. How are they going? What are you doing? Are you flourishing? Are you dying on the vine? Are you going to grow together? Is it time to cut bait? It's also a very good time to do business negotiations. It is a great time to buy a car. Do not get hung up on Mercury retrograde solely on that. This is a great time as you're coming up on the end of the month. First of all, Mercury's about to go direct in a couple of days. It's starting to slow down. It's starting to pull station. And by the way, station is a train turn. It comes into station. It comes, then it starts backing up again, right? You also have the sun. And by the way, as of today, right now, the sun is at 20, almost just shy. It's 29 degrees. So you're at the anarich of Leo, which is actually a very gentle sun. It is a very gentle angle, where a lot of 29 degrees are like, I'm all sorts of. It's an obscene amount of confidence. It's an obscene amount of calm. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's the FAFO, if you know what that means. It's the, oh yeah, go ahead. You can play that game if you want to, but you're going to find out. You're going to go down that way, right? Yeah, houses are actually pretty good to do right now too. You just want to make sure that your contracts are really clear, right? This is a bit of upheaval time too, where like in a relationship, when you look at each other and you're like, listen, you've been pulling this thing for however many years we've been together. This isn't flying with me anymore. Like, I love you, but I can't have you. Or it's kind of like we're going to make it, right? This is going to work. Are we going to do this? Yes or no? Ta-da, maybe. And it gives you the opportunity to really, it's a great gut check. It's a great gut check. And this is as much as it might be emotional and topic, as much as it might be kind of like oh my gosh, you've got to face it one way or the other. Hey, Joanne, how are you? It is allowing you to grow as a person. The human aspect, this is just fertilizer for the spiritual growth right now. It is fantastic. Now, Pluto, of course, has to put its 2 cents in. But Pluto, I mean, look at this. It almost looks like it's a puppet master here, like it's pulling all the strings, right? Pluto is sitting here in the 0 degree of Aquarius. And I think it is September the 1st that it moves into Capricorn again. By the way, September 1st, absolute train wreck of a day. Just done. It's a great day to travel, Brandon, which is why my return flight is that day. Thank you very much. Good night. Dad, count your legs before you get on the flight. So it's a beautiful energy beforehand, but we're going to get one of these gobsnacks, right? Because what's going to happen is Pluto's going to go back into Aquarius with all of these similar puppet string things going on. One of the other reasons why this isn't an overtly tough placement is because you have, listen, love wins. So everything I was talking about, Venus in opposition to Saturn, you see Venus up here in the 11th house. And again, don't get caught up in the houses here. And then you see in the 4th house here, Saturn 17 to 22. It's within 10 degrees. So it's a conjunct, or I'm sorry, it's an opposition. And with that in mind, Pluto doesn't have any influence over Saturn. So it's not about being stuck in the mud. You're not going to stay if you don't want to be staying, right? But Pluto does kind of give a little bit of love energy over here to Venus, and just kind of says in a sextile way, like, or in a trine way, hey, listen, if you want to do this, like, hey, we got your back. You're empowered. Love will win. It's a little more to the self-preservation of your value system than it is about being safe. Throughout the course of the season, I saw somebody at a home party who was not in a good relationship, and their partner was not a good partner to them. And it's difficult when the first question or the first thing that I ask or the first thing I say is a question. And the question is, are you safe? Like, it was one of those situations. And with that in mind, I just knew that their structure was built in a way where there were no choices. This has choice. This is giving it to the power of the connection of what you personally value yourself as well as the relationship. So you're weighing them equally. You're not staying because you don't have options. You're not staying because you can't find a job somewhere else. This also works very well when you translate it to career, because the career part of this is exquisite. If you're thinking about leaving your gig here before the end of the year, this is a great 7 to 10 day period for you to go like, I'm just want to see how the other half live. Don't forget, recruiting, depending upon your industry, recruiting is frowned upon. So if you're a doctor, it is bad form for the hospital next door to call you. But if you're a doctor and you're not satisfied, you can call that hospital next door and they can take your phone call. But there's rules kind of on an organizational level to do things or not do things. Keep that in mind as you go through this, because you have to initiate it. You have to be the one, you can be like, oh, well, if the universe wants me to go there, then great. No, the universe wants you to pick up the phone, brush off your resume, and put on a good face and, clean yourself up. Go through the car wash, trim between your eyebrows, there should be two, and then go in there with sassy and be like, hey, look at who I am. Yeah, go. No, I bail out on that. Only Toledo. I don't know why it's doing this, but I'm picked up on my Wi-Fi as opposed to my plug-in. Oh yeah, now I'm plugged in again. That was weird. Michelle, good evening. How are you, Janice? Always good to see you as well. Joanne, thank you. And Connie, great to see you too. And Dennis Pointman is on the 3rd. Okay, well you're into the retrograde esque time period. You're just kind of in that shadow. Hey, Melanie, how are you? Look at that. You and Kevin, when you switch them back and forth. Anyways, so that's a little bit of astrology right now. You also have, coming up on what is the 23rd? That's Friday. You're gonna have some really kind of cathartic release whenever the moon and Chiron get together. Being in Aries, that's you saying, hey, listen, I'm going to draw these boundaries the way that I need to. And Pluto responds, man. Pluto says, hey, you want to make that boundary? Go ahead and do this. I love this placement. Like, if I could read charts like this all the time and be like, is everything going to be okay? Yes. Yes, it will be. Every little thing is going to be all right now. It's terrible. I bombed horribly. I just bombed horribly when I got up and I was singing and doing music. And I can't wait to do it again. I promise not to bomb next time. All right, calm down, Megan. Jesus. Yeah, boundaries here. It's also called contraception. I don't know what you're talking about there, Catholic girl. Oh my gosh. By the way, I also saw the Great McGowans, another fun Irish Catholic family that you guys, I think, were in competition for a while with head count. I'm just having fun now at this point. If there's some inside jokes, just know Irish people are like rabbits. So, anyways, in a nutshell, we're feeling pretty good about this. Last thing, and I actually talked about this at great length in class today. And in case you guys don't know this, I teach a class every week. I do it at the noontime hour. Right now, during the summer, I do it during Tuesday. I'm going to switch back to Mondays. And you may say to yourself, like, oh, I don't really have time or whatever. It's an hour long. It's noon to 1. It gives you an opportunity to come in. And by the way, if you don't get the whole thing or you miss it or whatever, it's in your inbox at the end of the day. And it gives you an opportunity to hear stuff like this. And then we also talk about a tarot card. As a matter of fact, this was our topic today. We talked about the 5 of Pentacles because we're moving into Virgo. And then, of course, the Hermit. We talked quite a bit of that. And it breaks it down. I do a lot of breakdown stuff, right? Pauline and Trish, we see you there. Bethany, good to see you as well. And it's funny because I gives me an opportunity to kind of go in depth and get conversation going. Sometimes you might have questions about this stuff. By the time you post it, I might not get to it. But the Sun and Vesta being together here in Leo, I mean, back it up, rewind a little bit, both being at the 29th degree Anarich, it means applying what you know. It means that you are saying, you know what, I have learned those lessons and it's about time I activate them. And it's also being able to creatively say, hey, I made mistakes. It's funny. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I like to agitate people. And when I say people, I mean as a social experiment. So I posted something about not being a snowflake and being compassionate and that sort of thing. Well, it's just, I want to make, I wish I had more time this week because I would absolutely make a video about it. But basically, in a nutshell, it was a series of people that just wanted to lecture me on how much I didn't know about politics, or lecture me about what I didn't understand, or their talking points were just pushing rhetoric, which I have a hard time with rhetoric. And listen, I was in sales, and I get the need for rhetoric. And sometimes when you're like, I would find myself talking and going, I'm not saying a fucking thing, right? Yes, Joanne, we hear you. And I realized that much of what people, I think what's going on right now is, first of all, I think that there is the weapon of fear is incredibly palpable. Why do we treat people in fear? That's my question. That's my question. I don't give a shit about your politics. You want to vote for the guy in the red hat? Okay. But if I ask you why, your answer shouldn't be because it's not her. And if you want to vote for her, if you are with her and you say, I want to vote for her because it's not him, also not a good thing. We have true bastardization of our process going on right now. We have criminals running. We have people that have circumvented the process running. We are so far away. Put yourself in a time machine. You're having lunch with Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin, one of our founding fathers, had his little French kink going on. Whatever. We all got our shit, right? We all got our compromise. We all do our thing behind the scenes. Those wigs weren't there they weren't powdered for no reason. But if you're having lunch with him and he says, tell me how democracy has progressed. And then you say, we had a television star that was famous for firing people. That was a little bit of a ladies' man. He's married 3 times. Clearly, he's got power, riches, and maybe even some looks. I don't know. He got into office because the Russians were able to manipulate the algorithm so more positive things came up about him. So the news only traveled towards him, not away from him. And when he got into office, he kind of sort of broke every rule that there was and didn't really care how to go. But wait, there's more. After he left, he got convicted. Well, Benjamin Franklin would say, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. That's so wonderful. The system has upheld itself. Like, those checks and balances are there. Oh, yeah, right. The checks and balances. Well, he stacked the Supreme Court, so they just kind of did what they needed to do for what they needed him to do it for. Oh, hey, Tina, how are you? Yeah, I agree with you there, Kathy. Jessica. Jessa, amen. Elizabeth, 100%. Fear is control. And now, to counterbalance that, we had the elder statesman running. But the elder statesman, was he over 45? Well, yes, he was over 45 years old. Like, we've read the Constitution. We know that no person should hold the presidency under the age of 45, because we garner the idea that if you have reached the age of 45, as our founding fathers had enough foresight to say, that this person has served this country long enough to gain enough prowess and information and chops. Tell me, what regiment did the man in the red hat serve in? Oh, yeah, he didn't do that. He didn't do that. No, he didn't do that. Oh. Well, tell me about the older statesman. Clearly, this is the better choice. This would definitely be the better choice. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. He kind of doesn't know where he is. Wears a diaper. A diaper? You mean like a baby? Well, he's 81 years old. Good God, 81 years old. We would never have that in our day. 70, 71, maybe. 81. And to be still working. Do we not have a pension by now? Hasn't he accumulated enough wealth? No. Well, they kind of talked him into stepping aside. Well, okay, finally retire, enjoy his plantation. No. No. It's as a matter of fact, they decided to have his vice president step up, and that's a wonderful idea. That's good succession planning. That's what Benjamin Franklin would call it. Because there was a belief system that the vice president was not only going to be an administrative strong arm for the president, but then also being able to understand the next step to go from vice president to president. Makes perfect sense. Where does this man yield from? Well, she is from California. California, where the Mexicans are? Yes, that is where they came from. It's all one big country now, though. We got 50 of the blocks now. And now so California, how that is just a small area. It's just the Baja part. Oh no, that's not how they drew it up. They made California, they stretched it, kind of like a like a board or a sheet or something. And they stretched it up. They went way up north towards Oregon and Washington and up the Pacific, right? And the other thing about this whole California thing is that she was the attorney general. She was a lawyer. Yeah, and she's like more than one thing. She's like a bunch of things. She's a woman, and she's from the other side of the country, and she's like black, and she's like in like Asian. She's a bunch of things. Good God, what have you done? That's our best option? Well, she has a law degree, and she actually was the attorney general for the 8th largest economy in the world. And she stood by her principles, and she's liberal as hell. But she is kind of qualified in ways that we've never really seen. So, I mean, we'll take a chance. Could you imagine explaining to one of the founding fathers, Kamala Harris? And for the love of God, I spent 10 minutes listening to right-wing radio today. The assault is on. They have spent from Rush Limbaugh to Levin to Hannity to just, ugh. Their premise is to belittle. That's not good energy, guys. It's just not. Listen, you call people out, but don't say that she took Tim Walz because she didn't want a Jewish man on the ticket. That's bullshit. Tim Walz is a man of the moment. Tim Walz is dropping trow on this. Listen, and listen, his politics needs some cleaning. Needs some cleaning. I'm not a big fan of anybody that says, listen, if your neighbor doesn't wear a mask, you should call our 800 number and tip us off so we can talk to him. What kind of Gestapo shit is that? Now, it was during a pandemic, and it's not necessarily in his rhetoric, but the idea that that was a good idea, even in a time of crisis, is not good decision making to me. So I can take the good and take the bad. But that's the challenge. That's the thing. You want to know how you can evolve. You want to know how your emotional IQ can grow. Look at the worst thing somebody could do. And by the way, it's out there. Think of the worst possible thing that somebody could do. We've all made mistakes. Even better, think of the worst thing you've ever done. Think of the one thing you don't want the world to know. Ooh, some of you should be. I'm a mandated reporter. You guys got to calm down. But listen, we're flawed. We're flawed humans. That is part of the experience. Being flawed, making mistakes, cutting people off, using swear words around kids. It's happened by accident. Mother. I just should have reeled that in a little bit more. Oh my gosh. Now I can't go near schools and Chuck E. Cheese's. Well, oh, thank you, Jeanette. Thank you so much. Oh, I appreciate that. Oh, the super chat. Thank you so much, Jeanette. Thank you so much. It sounds like you're getting a reading tonight, so stick around. And listen, I don't shake people down for that. That's her willingness to do that, and I want to return it in kind and shuffle up and heal with her. But think about the dynamics of the energy that you have to possess to always judge people, and to always be negative, and to always kind of grift and look at the worst in every single human. We have all done shit. It is a given. It is a tie gundier. We have we've got the, oh God, I didn't do that. Think of yourself at the pearly gates, if you want to believe that mindset, and be like, and have Peter sitting there going, this is my favorite. This is where you literally didn't answer the phone when your mother called and she needed you more than anything in that moment. This is the part. Go ahead, watch this. And you're like, ugh. I know what my review is going to look like. I'm just letting you know, if it's not one thing, it's your mother. But it's that critical mass that we for whatever reason can't look at somebody and look at them as a whole person. That's a problem. You find one flaw and you're like, they're done. Wait, what? I can take a, hey Rar, is it rare or rar? That's kind of cool. Thanks for signing in. That's our challenge. We can't. I am willing. What I'm about to say, you're going to be like, okay, B, this is your opinion. I can take somebody going down a path where they do some unscrupulous things. Sometimes in business, you just get caught. You get caught with your pants down. You do some shady shit. You hurt people unintentionally. It happens. I can take somebody that says, here you go. And because I'm an agitator, I want to ask both candidates a few questions. The first question would be, when you've made a mistake, what did you learn? What do you think Red Hat would say? What do you think the new one would say? The red one would say, there are no mistakes. That's a problem. I look for emotional IQ in anything and everything I do. I don't care if you're an umpire at a Little League game. I don't care if you're the waitress that forgot my order. I don't care if you're the post office guy that pre-licked all my stamps before he handed them to me. That was weird. But what did you learn from this? Why would you do this? And we're in this world of Karen, of retribution, of being like, you made a mistake. You deserve to die. You deserve to get fired. You need to be written up. I need justification. Right? And then we're entitled to judge people? No, we're walking around playing God. We killed God in the last half of the century. And then we turned around. He unpeeled the back of it. He didn't really lick it. He just accidentally unpeeled it. It was actually pretty funny. And he went by way of Seinfeld. Don't ever lick the stamp Seinfeld on a Seinfeld episode. Only character to ever die on Seinfeld, by the way. But we get so hung up on judging people. We get so hung up. We get so hung up on that. And by the way, we're all conditioned to do it too. Is it being discerning or are we being judgmental? I've been judged. I made mistakes and I've had people judge me. Or I mean, and listen, I respect that they have some sort of agency and decided that that's not for them or whatever the deal is. But when you are not altruistic about your growth, when you're just sitting in the judgment chair, you'll never grow. You will never grow if all you do is sit there and judge people. You just won't. And you sure shit won't be a medium. Because let me tell you something. Some people's souls, they kind of dirty. I got to go through the car wash after some of these readings sometimes, but I signed up for it, and it's my job not to judge it. But I'm not going to get any on me. That's my boundary, right? And listen, on the other side of this, though, what makes us good people? Why would somebody want to reflect like that in a reading? Maybe because they found the bottom of the pool when they jumped in the deep end. And they're ready to push off, and they're looking at me to help them push off. I'm in. I'm all in. I'm not judging you. I'm not going to tell you how heavy the water is anymore. You already know it. I don't need to tell you that there's a mistake there. You know it. That's called growth. You want me to be part of your growth? I'm in. I'm pushing all the chips in on that one. Wow. The next question I would ask is, how do you hold yourself accountable when nobody is looking? And by the way, you may like the answer. You may think that they're full of crap. And it becomes a conversation where if you don't help them, you're not doing your job. But they don't have a right to take advantage of you. They have to own it. They have to make those changes. And it's funny, you're going to see this more and more. But you're seeing a great division happen. And by the way, the ease of astrology right now, this kind of like timeout thing, this, hey, what relationships are good for me? How are we going to work through this? What's going on? And maybe it's just right sizing things. Maybe it's just right sizing it, right? Is part of what we're doing as we're barreling towards the age of Aquarius. The rule of thumb for the age of Aquarius is self-control, self-responsibility, self-containment, self-agency. If you ain't got it, you're in trouble, and you are going to see that division grow. People that don't want to face their stuff will externalize it and call you the demon. They'd rather talk about politics than hold up the mirror to themselves. You do realize that 95% of any of these political arguments is because people don't look at themselves. They'd rather externalize it and blame everything else and be the expert of somebody else's life in an armchair quarterback sort of thing on a Monday morning. Part of the reason why I really simmered down on all the political stuff at the beginning of the summer is because I was just tired. Just tired. I'm not changing anything. I'm not changing your mind. I have a very specific thing that I akin to, right? You guys are listening to it. You guys are hanging on, right? If I was to choose to create a new political party, and by the way, new political parties are going to begin to emerge. The Republican Party is decimated. It'll come back in some regard, but we don't have a two-party system anymore. And it is important that we have ideas of progressivism as well as conservatism placed within balance, right? Libertarian is a very keen way to look at things. It looks at fiscal responsibility. There's that word responsibility, and it takes no responsibility for who you're buggering. It is a mind your own business conversation, right? Oh, and what did Tim Wall say? Mind your own damn business. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just go out there and well, some of us folks, we understand how to hunt a goose. We shoot goose around here. That's what we do. You hit a loon every once in a while. Am I right, Mr. Cheney? That was a political joke, everybody. Thank you very much. Good night. Hey, Matt, how are you, bud? Michelle, thank you for the confidence. Yeah, black belt, totally. Yeah, they should. There should be some spiritual hand sanitizer. It's called smudge, right? Goosing around, eh? But isn't there a dynamic that you can find in all of this that if you were to create your own political party, your own political ideology, what were the things that you would look at, right? And yes, life is much more important or much more satisfying when you mind your own business. I don't disagree with you, Jeanette, but on the other side of it, some of us are called to help. By the way, if I minded my own business, I wouldn't have adopted 3 awesome kids. So sometimes you got to get off the couch. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't. You see what I did there, though? Sometimes you do have to get involved. If not you, then who? I was a coach for baseball, and before that I was a coach for basketball, and before that I was a referee, and before that I was and yeah, I made a few bucks being a referee, and I was a little more svelte during the time. Yeah, they're doing revolution the wrong way. Rare, I gotta give you a high five for that one. Yeah, the revolution is here. And it's not a civil war. It's not World War III. It all depends on how you look at it. You know, and it's not about who's in power. Everything has been about what is power. And if you are judiciously, this is truly the energy of what I see. I see a very immature group of people trying to gain, or in this case, regain control, so then they can outsource this for a dollar amount and an energetic exchange that they don't have to feel responsible for. While the other side is saying, "Don't be a child, and we need to take this away from you." Even though I don't like their parenting style, even though I don't really care for how they go about some of the ways that they would implement how they would have done things otherwise, I just know that the grown-ups have to take this over. And by the way, the grown-ups aren't always right. You know this. I mean, how many of you are parents where you're like, "Oh, I got that fucking wrong. Holy Jesus." Right? And when you do this, and by the way, Jesse, you bring up a good point about being a giver. Um, yeah, but I see like I see like see I was right. Yeah, it's not about, and by the way, there's a little bit of ego in that. It's not about you sometimes when you're guiding this stuff. There's pride in it. You should take pride in it and be like, "Yeah, I kind of told you." But on the other side of it, it's like, "Boy, you're not in charge." How about the idea that if we were to create our own political party, what would you believe in? Would you believe in fiscal responsibility? Probably. Would you believe in social guidance for self-discovery for people to become what they feel is their self-evident best self? And does that include whether they want to become a squeaky clean bow-tied conservative, or if they want to lead the world into a new era of in their pride mobile? There's room for everybody, guys. There's room for everybody. And by the way, the the gay Batman's going to make mistakes just like the conservative uptight accountant is going to be as well. Let's just accept people where they are. We're all fuck ups, every single one of us. I'm sorry, that's harsh language, but it's true. There's challenges here. And do we have the mental acuity to get through them? Apparently not. We're too busy blaming each other. We're too busy saying, "Well, you're doing this," and you. That's why this election is going to go 60+%, right? Kelly just nailed it. By the way, I got flagged last time I brought up that date. I got flagged. I got a nice little warning. because they're like, you can't say the P2025. Not without, you need sight words and you need blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, what? Okay, who do I talk to about this? And then they said, yeah, I'm here. For whatever reason, my hard line seems to go sideways. And I'm going to start here, Jeanette. By the way, is that Sleepy? Is that Sleepy as your meme? I think that's awesome, Jeanette. I think that's awesome. So we're going to do some shuffle up and heel here. And here we go. Oh, look at this. So my cards are all mixed up because I was throwing them around earlier, literally, figuratively, all that stuff. I'm going to give it a little more shuffle, a little more. How do you do? Yeah, there was a little bit of. Hey, you guys are just like, yeah. Once you get past the political stuff, he actually does some cool stuff with the cards. I'm going to give it a little more shuffle here. So, Jeanette, give us a topic here. Give us a question. Give us a what are you feeling? What do you need to know? What do you need to what's your question du jour? Sure, we'll get a couple in queue here. Jeanette, you're going to give us some option. And by the way, those of you that are just joining us, some of you newbies like Rare, I love that name, Rare. I work it with a 3-card set. In other words, you're going to get 3 cards down. I'm going to use the traditional tarot, the Rider-Waite, and then we're going to do the answer call with that with the Grand Royale from Leo Marchetti. It's a beautiful deck. If you don't have one, you should look it up. Anything about tomorrow? Is this like in kind of a fun sort of way? I like it. All right, here we go, Jeanette. There's she out of the gate. Ooh. Oh, look at this. Somebody's a wounded healer. Somebody's a wounded warrior. This is you. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is you reaping what you sow. We're going to want that to be your fruit of the loins here. And then we've got the Ace of Wands. Very interesting setup here. And I'm going to tell you why. Because whenever you have the Ace of Wands comes out, it means that you have to kind of, this is about shedding stuff. I really like how the wands represent here. So you have the 9 of Wands, which is the wounded healer. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Patty, I'll be back in a second. Yeah, something about the internet this time of the year. Still invited to Minnesota, Lady Ann. There you go. Back on, Patty. So sorry. Yeah, for whatever reason. Yeah, Jeanette, here you go. So this is about a wounded healer, right? So you've got the wand. He's carrying the wand. And then you have the 7 of Pentacles. This is a super interesting card because this is about the practical growth, reaping what you sow. So in other words, if you're going to tell me that this is about health, I'm going to tell you, pay attention to what you're eating. Because if you eat nothing but cheese curds, you're going to feel like crap a little bit after that, right? It's very internet-y tonight. It's interesting, though, that he's taking the staff here and holding it here, and then we get the Ace of Wands. So what did you learn? Venus, opposition to Saturn. You have the Sun in conjunct to Vesta. Vesta is the great teacher. This is you going, what'd you learn? What do you have to change? What do you know? You're your best doctor if you're going to go, medical or health. If you're going to go love, you're going to be like, I gotta put myself first. I can't fix anybody. I get into these freaking whack-a-mole situations and then I have to dig myself out. I always figure it out. That's how it rolls. Oh yeah, you got some choices here. Two of Swords comes out. Talks about your way of the world. And by the way, you have learned a lot. Wow, we are in Earth School, and you, my dear, are kicking ass and taking names. And then you have the King of Pentacles on top of the Ace of Wands here. I'm going to tell you why I love this for you, because this is a choice. You're moving out of a spot where you have to make a choice, right? You've got to, you're going through it for sure. You can't go around stuff anymore, especially when you're evolving. If you're devolving, you have no problem skipping steps. You have no problem not taking accountability. You have no problem getting there, right? Seven of Pentacles along with the Magician. Are you kidding me? That's some serious fertilizer, my friend. That is you saying, you know what? I'm only going to pick that. You've got such strong gumption behind it. And then you've got the King of Pentacles here. The King of Pentacles are kind of interesting on this, and I want to point it out, and I'm going to bring it back around here. What's interesting to me on this one isn't just that he's kind of like, hey, look at me, I'm in this winged thing, and I'm showing you guys how to do it, and this is how you go. How he sits on his throne is very much in that prone position to say, I'm not going to sit back on my opulence. I've got to be an active participant on it. Where in the Rider Waite, he's kind of a complacent prick. I always think that he's the alligator king. The alligator king said to his 7 sons. I just went Sesame Street on you, by the way. Like 5 of you. 5 of you got that. And the dynamic here for this is that you're really kind of stepping into your own power, right? Because the king with the wand, this is your action. This is there. If you want me to boil it down and say, is this going to be a positive thing? Oh, this is good. This is healing. This is the void. This is about you getting through the winter. This is about embracing the winter and any of the changes that come along. This is you doing some self-healing. So if you want to stay in that, right? If you want to stay in this healing mode for you, look to trim some stuff away. Look to be able to kind of like pull yourself back a little bit. And even though you're going to take charge with the Ace of Wands, this king is basically saying, we're going to be okay. We're gonna derive this in a great way, and it's going to be super super positive. All right, Matt, you're busting chops now. I see you. Yeah, when the glasses come out, it's like, oh, it was up till 2:30. You got my email. But Jeanette, thanks so much for being the super chat on that. Almost a given for me to give you a reading for sure. I appreciate you. Good luck in all of this, whatever you got going on. I just think it's going to be positive, to be honest with you. But I'm going to coach. I'm going to coach you here a little bit and say you gotta institute some boundaries for yourself, because that void car looks scary at first because it looks like there's not much to it. But what it's really saying is like, this isn't the time to go and adopt. This isn't the time to get into political arguments. This isn't the time to whatever. And by the way, you'll also see this too a lot. If you've evolved, you just take people as they are. Oh, you want to argue with me about, what's the better paint on a Corvette? Okay. It's just kind of how I am, right? No, Rare, good to see you on board. All right, I'm seeing you work. Boy, listen, if you guys want to see somebody really kind of work it here on the other side of it, here we go. Yeah, you do have a star now, Rare. So, Rare, you had a question before. If you can repost it, that'll help me out. I'll certainly come to you. Get that question out there. And I want to go to one of our old time, people that have been, Connie, I'm trying to find you here. Hang on, bear with me. Yeah, Connie, here we go. I'm going to come to you in rare if you can repost your question so that it's a little fresher on my feed. Connie, here you go. We're going to go with the Knight of Pentacles. Thanks so much for tuning in again. Health issue seems to be a thing right now. And by the way, part of the reason why health is being a thing right now is because of that Mars Jupiter connection right now. Is you're kind of like you're doubling down a little bit. Don't get scared. Don't get scared. The devil card comes out. Let me explain. Oh, are you kidding me? I'm going to roll the whole thing out and then I'm going to wrap my arms around you. Oh, yeah, girl. I got you on this one. By the way, this is super. Oh, girl. Connie, I got you on this one. Got the 9 of Pentacles popping out, and then we have the Temperance card along with the Judgment card. Holy jeez. Connie, here's your read. You ready? The Knight of Pentacles comes out because you need to get concrete with where you're going with things. The Devil card comes out in reverse to untether you from some of the challenges that you have. So if you have been, this is all positive, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to be changed because the Judgment card comes out. Don't look at it as judgment. Here I am talking about judgment, like, oh, we're judging each other, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm not judging you. I'm going to tell you, though, there's another version of you in there, and it's coming out. That's why your ancestors are coming to you, girl. Then we've got the King of Cups on top of the Knight of Pentacles, which is really kind of like it eases the harshness of just being like, well, here's the matter of factness. This tells me that maybe you're getting some news that's very kind of like, well, this is what you got to do. Well, Brandon, we don't really like what we see, so we're going to have to trim the nose hair, right? And remember, while you're at it, take care of the eyebrows. There should be two. I love that phrase. But listen, the 9 of Pentacles here is everything to me. The 9 of Pentacles is the Mary Poppins card, the practically perfect in every way. Not only are you going to land on your feet, but you're going to do it with such a grace and such a perspective. You're going to grow. 9, it's a spiritual evolution, kid. And then when you have the Temperance card, this is about you saying, I can't do everything. I am going to say no. I am going to do things like say, hey, I'm not really sure that's for me anymore. You're going to pick and choose what you spend your energy on. Everything's about energy. Everything ties back to energy. Everything. You know what else does? Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm going to say this to you because I was feeling it before, and this card just gave me that confirmation. I think you're going through this health challenge right now because you're meant to go through it. And listen, I'm not, people ask me, like, I've seen tragedy and that sort of thing. Who would ever choose that? Nobody ever chooses those things. Yeah, you did. The card is called, the name of the card is called Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. You're going through this with purpose. You're going through this with an infinite amount of purpose. I kind of like it. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I really like this, Connie. Happy healing to you. I really want to make sure that you are rocking and rolling. And I hope you're good. I really do. I hope you're good. Tomorrow we're presenting. Okay, Rare, how are you? Connie, thanks again for tuning in. Love you to death. I can't wait to see you some more. But hang with it. Find the purpose in tragedy. Find the purpose in challenges. Find the purpose in getting rerouted. Have you ever taken the wrong way? Have you ever driven the wrong way and then you're like, oh, you're so mad. Wasted time and blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, the biggest ball of string. That's why I wanted to drive. I actually didn't even want to turn on the GPS. I was just going to go like it's basically I-90, right? Yeah. Tomorrow you have to present a proposal for a project, and I wonder if it'll be accepted. I don't know, Rare. Let's kind of take a look at the cards and see how it rolls. By the way, thanks for becoming a new member. We'll see more as we go. I think I'm really going to build this channel between here and the end of the year. You're going to see me out here a lot. Oh, behave. The Lover's card comes out. So this is a choice. I actually think you have more than one presentation in your back pocket. Then you have the Knight of Wands, although a specific step forward, it's also a little bit of a lack of maturity. And then you have the Sun. Dude, rare. Chicken dinner. if you don't get this, you are offering a proposal to ease their pain. You're also going to capitalize on the timing of it. And it's going to be the right thing to do for everybody. Wow. So here's a quick read from left to right. You've got the Lover's card, which is the choice card. It's also the Gemini card. So you're also kind of looking at this as in like, what are the multiple facets that you're looking at? This 10 of Wands sitting on top of it is solution based. This is you coming and going, you broke, I can fix it. So I would be solution based in this presentation, and I would talk about how it is unique. Also, I really like the idea to be confident but not bombastic. That is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is not coming in overconfident, and you're still a little like, kind of like we can do anything you need me to do. But is it what we want to do? I might not have done this before, but it doesn't mean I can't figure it out. I think you're going to prove like a level of mental capacity. The Four of Swords here actually talks about the timing of it. I think this is like lightning in a bottle a little bit. Maybe if other people are making presentations, it's not their time. This is an expertise that maybe you've kind of been through. The Sun and the Hierophant together is kind of like the Sun and Vesta together, right? You have the Sun, Leo card, Vesta being the great teacher, right? Hierophant recognizes that this is kind of like the right way to do it, if you will, right? It's Tyrannian card along with the Leo card. Got a lot of fixed energy here. I think this is going to be one of those things where this has got purpose, and I think you're going to be super comfortable with it. Will it be accepted? I think it's a no-brainer. Not only do I think it's going to be accepted, I think it's a matter of when can you start. Just out of curiosity, Rare, have you presented things before and not gotten them, either to this group or for this company that you're working with? Because the I'm sorry, defenselessness, righting past wrongs and uprooting, I think you're overcoming some stuff. And by the way, the Hierophant makes a kind of appearance to say like, hey, you got this. You got this, Rare. By the way, I love your name. That's kind of cool. All right, I'm going to cycle all the way down here. Elizabeth, I am on you. I think that this is, and I'm going to tell you where this is going here, Rare. By the way, the Lovers is a partnership. Just to let you know, I think they've chosen you. I think they're choosing you. I think it's the right timing. I think that they're maybe looking at you possibly as a succession plan to be like, hey, some of our old fogies are kind of moving out of Dodge. And maybe they've made mistakes before. I don't think that this applies to you as much as this applies to the situation, which is them saying, hey, kind of been there, wrong that. All right, Elizabeth, you asked me a really tough question, and guess what? I'm going to give you a really tough answer, right? We're going to go do this. Rare, thanks so much, man. Thanks for being part of things here. Hope you stick around. Taryn. Sharon, good to see you. Sharon, I love your comments too on my Facebook. Thank you so much. Well, hang in there, kid. We're going to get there. Jenny, how are you? Oh, Jenny, thanks for the validation there. Hey, Elizabeth, I am coming to you next, but I want to point this one out. Jenny, give me some context, and maybe we can do another read on this. Yeah, Michelle, this is the Leo Marchetti Grand Royale. Connie, thanks so much. Oh, love you too. Thank you so much. Avocado plus orange. boom, in the house. Yeah, Sharon, this is gonna be a good year for you. Magical Mermaid. If I am healthy, I am rich. There it is. I love that. Um, yeah, Jenny, give us some perspective. Rare, thanks again for tuning in, and we're gonna go here with this. You're sharing the information here, and we're gonna go from there. So listen, we're gonna pull this down. But Elizabeth, I'm talking to you here. Let's talk about a little bit of where we're going here with this. Oh yeah, Knight of Cups. Easier. Looks like a knight in shiny armor, if I might say so myself. Does he like peasant bread? I think he does. I'm going to keep rolling these out here, kid. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. So we got a little bit of a challenge here. Listen, I got you. Don't. Please. Please. I know you saw this card. You went, oh, shit. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, Chris is watching. We're going to roll out the other three. Yeah, baby. The Empress card. Ace of Wands. This is about manifesting. This is about having the right outcome. So here we go. When the Knight of Cups gets together with the Empress, it is understanding feminine divine. It's also understanding intuition. It's also understanding of like doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. It is kind of saying like, I have no ego here. I'm going to do whatever they say, whatever a doctor says, whatever the advice is. This is where you're at. Now you get the Three of Swords because it's kind of like, oh no, this is going to sting. This is going to go here. But guess what? Clarification comes in with the Ace of Wands, basically going, we got a one-trick pony here. We're going to do this once. Whatever this is, we're going to go through this once. By the way, the Ace of Wands here is basically going, we're going to wave the magic wand and we're going to do this. But you got to deal. You got to deal, which, by the way, I really like with the first two cards in front of it. With the Knight of Cups along with the Empress, I kind of like this. Kind of like this a lot because then look at this. Look at our recovery. Queen of Pentacles. Do the right thing. Rest, relaxation, confidence. Spend your time wisely. The Eight of Wands comes out, and guess what? That's a quick recovery. Loved you since we were kids. Ever since we were on TV together. You got to watch the whole show to get all of these nuances. But I got to tell you, this connection for what Chris is about to go through, it's real. You got to deal. It's going to be a little And by the way, don't start reading in this and say, well, it's Three of Swords. Does that mean it's three things and three blah, blah? No. No. The Ace of Wands comes in and says, well, let's just get this taken care of. I think what the Three of Swords represents here is, oh, fuck, I got to deal with this. Oh, no. Oh, this could be bad. I think we're ahead of it. I think you're staying ahead of it. Because, oh, I love this. Yes, I'm putting on the glasses, Matt. The double mission, Lightworker Starseed, serve the world by being you. We're going through this for a reason. Maybe this is giving you an opportunity to take care of them. Looks like this Queen of Wands or Queen of Pentacles is kind of taking care of what she's got in her lap. Maybe this is you holding his head and telling him it's going to be okay. Maybe it's you saying, hey, I'm going to facilitate quick healing by helping you out here. Maybe this is the opportunity. Instead of looking at it as in like, hey, Chris is going through this, look at it like this is my opportunity to help you. This is my opportunity to be that thing that I committed to here. And all of a sudden, it doesn't feel so scary. Just take a deep breath in and be grateful that you're about to get the opportunity to be the person that you've always told them you were going to be. Because that's a person I know. How about that? Oh, I didn't even catch up on that. Elizabeth, you are all set, kid. How do you feel about that? You're pretty worried? Well, I appreciate you. Always have, always will. We're going to get a few more of these. All right, Jenny. Where are we going here with this? Jenny, I think I asked you for an update. You see in Florida, Kentucky. Ooh, we're seeing losses here. Oh, Jenny, how you doing? Okay, now I'm kind of seeing this here. Hey, Mary Beth, if you go to tbrandonruss.com, I just dropped all my rates. She mentioned that she needed a one-on-one. All right, Jenny, here we go. Hey, Jenny. He was 46 days short of 103 years old. We'll follow the numerology, Jenny. Follow the numerology. 46 is a 1. 103 is a 4 plus the 1. It's a 5. It was a change day for them. Okay. Yeah, I'm connecting with Dad here, Jenny. Here we go. It's just the card of the day. Whew. Oh, love this. We're going to keep going. Here's Dad. Holy jeez. Oh. I don't know what the big A is around Dad. I don't know what the A is. The A. He keeps saying A, Arthur Arnold. Yeah, and he's rolling off the tongue here. Well, I'm going to tell you, I see your comment about not wanting to pass. Yeah. Listen, guys, when I connect with Spirit, I got to sit with it for a second. So a couple of things going on here. First of all, the 5 of Pentacles. Couldn't save him. That wasn't your job. It's not your job. Your job isn't to save people. Your job is to facilitate. And if that facilitation saves a person, great. That facilitation is to guide them to where they need to go, also great. Right? So it's not always about that. What it is, and based on these cards, you have the 5 of Pentacles here. The 5 of Pentacles is being left out in the cold. The King of Wands is basically representing your dad. He's cold. He's gone. You feel like he abandoned you. That's what the feeling is right now. The 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands represents quick and fast moving. The 8 of Wands represents the idea that you can manifest things, that there are changes coming. In the 5 of Wands right here, 5 of Wands is about the internal conflict that you had. He's 103 years old and he still didn't see it coming. Came up from out of nowhere and it doesn't leave you. Wow, he crossed over and then he came back. Wow, didn't want to die. Listen, who wants to? I'm having the time of my life. And listen, if I vanish off the face of the earth, no, they came and got me. Just letting you know. I love life too much. I'm not jumping off any bridges. I'm not taking any weird chances. The Queen of Cups, along with the Queen of Wands, this is him telling you literally how much he loves you and how much he was loved by you. And oh, by the way, you're a fierce, independent, beautiful daughter. Literally just got the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands together. If that ain't a message, I don't know what is. Cassandra, good to see you there. So maybe this isn't about saving anybody. And by the way, you just proved how palpable it is to lose somebody no matter where they are in life. 103 years old? I'm going to go with this one right here. I'm going to pick up the deck. Deep cellular healing. I can't read the bottom. Not the glasses. Arcturus energy. Physical and emotional healing. Kaboom. Kaboom. Who's got that one? Who had Jenny needs a little bit of healing on their bingo card? I did. And listen, guys, think about this. When you, first of all, 103 years. Jenny, that's just listen, this is the reason why Dad's such a stud. You're only 23. So there's that. But I've got bad news for everybody involved here. None of us are going to make it. Not one of us. Whenever somebody crosses over and they give me the part where they're like, "Hey, I'm not done yet, by the way. I just want to make it about me." Whenever people cross over, I don't get hung up on their regrets because honestly, most people don't have them. People will give a perspective about, oh, I could have done better, or I should have been more connected, or whatever. And it's not really. You miss them because they meant something. When we lose our parents, they are the only constant we've had in our life. Even if they're the shittiest knuckleheads on the face of the earth. They, your mom has been there since the day you were born. I met somebody once whose mother passed away during her childbirth. She was being born, brought into this world, and her mother hemorrhaged. And they couldn't figure it out. Blood transfusion after blood transfusion after she faded away in a matter of 3 hours. So there is this band called Live that it tries to explain how souls transfer, how somebody could be going through the last moment of their life, and then on another floor there's adulation going on and a new baby being born, and then a mother that passes away to give birth, but that's the risk of giving childbirth, and in understanding that song called I Alone, because you recognize that you are playing a part in somebody else's world. Right? Listen to the lyrics. It really lays out the idea that we always have a role in somebody else's life. And by the way, you're never going to explain it. You're not. This is not going to make sense, heads or tails on this side. You're going to sit there and go like, "What? Why did that just happen? Why did a new mother die? They didn't get a chance to live that life at all." Anyway, so I was sitting with somebody whose mother had passed away in her childbirth, and her mother came straight through. And I started the reading this way, and I said, she starts by saying it's not your fault. I had no context. I'm like, I don't know, how long ago did your mother pass? She's like, I was literally 3 hours old. I'm sorry, what? And by the way, she was giving me 3. So I'm like, what is this, March? Is this March? You're one of 3. You were a triplet. I don't know. No. My mom was 3. I was 3 hours old when my mom passed. That gets real in a hurry. And she's like, I feel guilty. I didn't really know her. And she felt guilty that she was the reason that she passed. directly, indirectly, spiritually, whatever. And by the way, this is a woman in her 50s. And I'm like, so now you're addressing this? Why? And by the way, she didn't have children because she was like, I'm not going to go that way. She didn't want to have children and leave the next, have the same thing happen to her. Not because she didn't want to die, but she didn't want to leave somebody with that guilt. That's a real thing. Right? And I'm like, how are you fulfilled? Like, what do you feel? You don't need kids in order to feel fulfilled. But a lot of people find fulfillment through kids. And she said, I found fulfillment when I became a nurse and understood, and she dealt with blood cancers, essentially. And I said, why do you think it was that? And she said, I just felt the need to fix people's blood. Arcturus energy, what they're teaching us from spirit, physical and emotional healing. Wow, you guys are heavy duty tonight, man. I love you. I love you. We're going to do a few more here. Patty, I know you asked earlier. Let me clean up here. Not alone am I. Not in my set yet, but I'm working on it. Dad says you got a kid. He sees you as a beautiful soul. Queen of Cups along with the Queen of Wands. He thinks you're a strong, independent woman. That's just beautiful. Who's Harold? Patty, I'm coming back to you. Don't worry. Jenny, who's Harold? Hanan? Arnold? I don't know what this is, but he keeps throwing me an A. I'll hang on to this. All right, we're going to go a little rapid fire here. Here we go, Patty. You'd ask me for cards. You've never asked me for cards in all your tune-ins, love. How about the Ace of Swords? How about you cutting out some garbage? And by the way, how about if you take all the emotion out of it? Oh, I like where this is going. And why don't you just truly be happy? That's what this is right here. This is about you cutting it out. This is about you saying, hey, I'm not putting up with your emotional stuff right now. This is about you going, oh, yeah, there we go. And by the way, transformational stuff. The Death card comes out. Hello, Scorpio. The Moon card comes out because you're like, I dream of a day where I don't have to deal with that stuff. Right? And then you got the Four of Pentacles here. Yeah, Jenny, please do. Let us know. So here you go, Patty. Here's your read. Got the Ace of Swords coming out with the Death card. Tons of transformation. Time for you to cut some things out. The Queen of Swords comes out and kind of goes, hey, here you go. I'm not going to get overly emotional to this. And then what do you get? You get the emotional card of the Moon. This one's about dreams. This one's about coming through. Then you get the Nine of Cups, which, by the way, is my birth date cup card. It's about jovialness. It is about sharing your wealth. And then it is about pumping the brakes and holding on to it. I think what this is about you getting used in ways that you weren't comfortable with. And now you're realizing that you needed boundaries for it. Patty, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to go a little rapid fire here. Thanks so much again for being here. Yeah, I saw some other requests here. I'm going to go back and forth here all the way through this. Hey, there you go. Hey, Taryn, how are you? I hope I'm saying that right, Taryn. Not really sure. Love a card for guidance? How about 6 of them? How about 7 of them? How about the Queen of Wands coming out? Ooh, how about that for battle? Ooh, the Carpenter card. You're going to need to kind of like bear down and do a little bit of hard work on this. I don't know what you're trying to manifest, but you're trying to move it in a way that is going to serve you a little bit further down the road. Winner, chicken dinner. Hold on a second. Can we go back to Jenny's reading? When I pulled out the Queen of Cups and then the Queen of Wands was on top of it, we get the reverse action here. We've got the Queen of Wands with the Queen of Cups on top of it. What does this mean? Oh, we're on a journey. I see what's going on here. You're a strong individual. Oh, yeah, there we go. So whatever this changes here, Taryn, you are, first of all, you have to remember who you are. You're a person of action. You are a person of purpose. You are you are a person of love, but you've got to work at it. And the journey has been exhausting. Right? The Eight of Pentacles comes out and kind of goes like, hey, listen, I'm going to do this work. The harder I work, the luckier I am. That's what this card is. Then the Six of Wands comes out and basically goes, life is a highway, and I'm going to ride it all night long. And I'm going to do it with swords in the bottom of my boat and see how long I can float. It's not sustainable, but it is a lesson, and it is a good time. Lessons coming out here. The Knight of Swords is really about you making those changes that you need to. Maybe it's a different direction. Maybe it's something, maybe it's an idea in which you need to kind of go in, because when the Six of Cups shows up, the Six of Cups just kind of gives you a little bit of a heart tap and says, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for changing. Here is your abundance. Bam to the bam to the bam. Thanks so much for tuning in. I bet you're not unhappy now. Child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. There you go. Wow, fantastic. All right, we're going to keep moving on this one. We're going to get a few more of these in. Thanks so much for tuning in there, Taryn. Very cool. What am I doing here? Yeah, sure. I can kind of, yeah, fall cleaning. There you go. There we go. Pauline, I know you were asking for a little bit of love there earlier. Here we go. Knight of Pentacles saying, hi, how you doing? Look at what I've got. And then I take the higher ground. Start throwing around the Seven of Wands, and then I've got the Ten of Pentacles. Hun, like, it's getting good. It's getting good. My wife is a highway. I want to ride her all night long. Did you really just say that? That was awesome. That was awesome. Those are awesome Weird Hour things. Wow. 2 Seven of Wands here, kid. Pauline, this is about applying what you know, kid. The Hangman, looking at it in a different way. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it. Pauline! I get so jazzed at these things. Pauline, here we go. You ready, kid? King of Pentacles with the Seven of Wands is basically saying to you, listen, you're taking it on the chin. You might be writing the check. You might be doing the emotional toll gating. You might be, there's so many things to do, right? Then you have the Seven of Wands with the Hangman on top of it. This is you looking at, what did you have to learn? What did you have to see? What did you have to do different? Because the Hangman comes in and basically says, are you seeing this the right way? What's on the other side of this? Abundance, strength, emotional stability. What kind of card am I giving you? You are not alone. No isolation, physical connection, community. Welcome to the class, kid. Oh, Pauline, I love this for you. I love this for you. So go back and learn the lessons. Pull the lessons out. Say, what you doing? What you doing? Right? There you go. Taryn, you are very welcome. Patty Charbs, yeah. Definitely need to do that. I'm going to roll right up here. Let's see if anybody else is sitting here. We're going to do a couple more here. Yeah, Jessa, I want to find a good comment where I don't want to necessarily say the sorry for your loss here. MJ, here you go. Tessa, if you're still on, let me know. MJ, how are you? Here's the Page of Cups. It's about a new love, a new attitude. Oh, you were celebrating there. Wow, MJ, you are celebrating. What are you celebrating here? Oh, you're getting over on your anxiety. Wait. Double zinger. Page of Cups with the Page of Cups. Woo. Couldn't do that again if we tried. MJ, what does that mean? Oh, yeah. This is, oh, yeah. Wow. Here we go. Page of Cups on top of the Page of Cups. Guess what that means? It means the Page of Cups. And by the way, I don't need to talk about word salad here, but the Page of Cups is very important because there's both the cups and the pages. Now, the pages are definitely more about how the cups go, but the cups are there. And then you have fish. Do you see what I'm saying? How about if I actually give you a good read? When the Page of Cups doubles down, what it's basically saying is you got to love you. You got to love your surroundings. You got to love your life. You got to love where you're supposed to go because you are meant to be happy. You get the Wheel of Fortune here combined with the Three of Cups, which is a celebration card. Then you have the anxiety turned upside down because the Two of Wands. When I say this, I hope it hits home because you made some good choices. You had two possible outcomes. You had a situation. The situation was the same no matter which way you were going to go. Are you stuck in it? Are you happy? Or are you going to sit there and go like, hey, I'm going to overcome it? I'm not going to overcome it. Bing to the bam to the here you go, MJ. Wow. Wow. Fall into my arms. A little romantic here. Surrender. Holding on to the opposites and the extremes in life. I'm going to tell you this. With Venus in opposition to Saturn, basically what we just saw here in this card. I love it. I really do love this work. Carol, are there cards for miracles? I don't know, but we're going to throw you some here, Carol. Good to see you again, love. Oh, yeah, the star card comes out. This is about destiny. It's about the higher good. And you, my dear, are practically perfect in every way. And then you're going to find your balance with it. Here we go. We're going to do a little bit of a roll here. Oh, yeah. Knight of Pentacles. This is about... Oh. Come on. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. We are all about this one. Here we go. So a couple of things I love about this one. You got the star card, which is kind of about a higher purpose, a higher destiny, a higher kind of concentration of your purpose. And then you have the practicality of the Knight of Pentacles. This is actually the knight that finishes the race. The Knight of Cups is kind of like a check me out, baby, right? He can't finish Grease Lightning without the entire garage working with him, right? The Knight of Swords is kind of like a... The Knight of Wands is so freaking pompous and falls in love with himself and he sees his reflection. But the Knight of Pentacles says to the star card, we have purpose. We've got work to do. Let's go do it. And then you do it in practically perfect every way. Notice I didn't say perfect. I said practically perfect. And then you have the 10 of Pentacles here. This is about abundance. Holy abundance manifester. And then you've got Temperance. And then you've got the Chariot. This is about you building your boundaries so that then you can grow infinitely. And guess what? The blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation. Carol, could they guide a miracle? You're ripe for miracles? The shit you are. It's in the cards. And by the way, Temperance is don't get cocky. Don't get cocky. We're on our way. We're on our way. Don't worry. Don't get cocky here. Carol, thanks so much for tuning in. It's always good to see you. Oh my gosh. I really do have a good time doing this, guys. This is fun to me. This is fun. Captivated audience, I'm in. Right? Cycle down here. Yeah, sure. I'm in, Janet. Here we go. Michelle, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm always full of enthusiasm. Janet, here you go. Okay. So here's the question. I keep getting collective readings that I am going to get a lot of money and love my life. Can I pull a card? See what's in it for me. Do you want me to be quiet or do you want me to get excited? Do you want me to dive right in on this one? Or do you want me to be like, oh yeah, here we go? Oh. All right. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, you got double fours right across the board. Oh. Janet, I don't know your situation, but we're going to dive deep into it right now. Please go ahead and pull up a couch. The therapist is in. So you pulled the Justice card. I don't know if you're a Libra, you're doing some balancing act, you're doing some energy work, or we're kind of sort of talking about some stuff, right? So you've also got this anxiety card, right? You get this anxiousness. You know, the Nine of Swords is actually about anxiety. It's about kind of like the perceived thing, right? So this is the idea for me. You have the Four of Pentacles, or you have the Four of, the Four of Pentacles as well as the Four of Swords here in the center. That's an 8, everybody. That is a manifester, right? Kind of a big deal. Then you have the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. Both of them are destiny and soulmate cards in a way. The Two of Pentacles is about how you balance that connection. And by the way, passing ships in a night, you're making it work. There's some juggling act, that sort of thing. Then the Three of Wands comes out, which is about the movement that you need to use the experience that you've had. By the way, stop me if you've heard this before. This is about getting experience and growing it to where you need to go. Janet, you're going to knock this out of the park, right? And by the way, notice how it's the Two of Pentacles, not the Ten of Pentacles. This is about getting what you need. It's about finding the balance to it. It's also about the Three of Wands, which is travel, which is going ahead and doing it. Maybe this is trying to tell you, just don't worry about the money. It's going to show up. Don't worry. Or maybe it's the idea of being able to say, like, you know, maybe you gotta move it a little bit in order to create some energy. Maybe you have to physically move. Maybe you just have to get out of Dodge for a little while. Whatever this is about a movement that'll bring your balance back to it. Oh. Loosen your grip. Coping mechanism, destiny. Let it all in. This is what I'm going to say about this. What a great card for this. Because what this is saying is like, you know, if you're going to worry about it, and by the way, that's anxiety. It's literally saying, don't worry about it. I got you. You're so worried about trying to get ahead that you're not letting go enough to let it happen. I was the same way for a long time. I thought I had to control every emotion, every dollar, every transaction, micromanagement is not for me. I have an organizational management degree, and you guys would be shocked with how the space looks. All right, Janet, thanks so much. I'm feeling it, guys. We're gonna do a little wrap up here. So we're gonna do a collective card grab here. Again, tbrainerus.com. If you're in upstate New York, I expect to see you at a show between here and the end of the year. I'm supporting theaters and community theaters. I am connecting with local businesses, healing arts centers. I am connecting with just all sorts of cool stuff. All right, guys, here we go. Here's the collective. Are you ready? Janet, thanks so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you again. Here we go. The death card comes out. Changes. Seven of Pentacles comes out. We're going to reap what we sow. And then the Hermit card. Oh, if there's a bustle in your hedgerow, get along now. Because the Hermit card was one of our cards today, guys. Those of you in class just smile when I do this, don't you? You just go, B, how'd you do that, B? I don't know. I just kind of like... Death card. Change with the Ace of Cups. In other words, you have the tools and the resources to change society. Let us step into it. Let us do it. By the way, I think we're in the waning hours of Leo right now. Happy Virgo season. The Hermit. This shady bastard. The Page of Swords. Let me explain. I can explain. The Page of Swords needs a good lawyer. And then the Nine of Cups. I love this. Take me home, country road. To a place where I belong. Yeah, 922. I know. I stand corrected. Although it does actually happen on the 21st, but it's at like 10 o'clock at night. Holy read! The death card, change, transformation. The Ace of Cups is giving us the love and the self-preservation to, this might be painful, but we kind of have to do this for you. By the way, the death card, as much as it is about personal transformation from a group reading, from a societal standpoint, this is about shedding old shit, everybody. This is about us taking out things. And by the way, if you really take a look at the death card, it's about trampling religion. It's about taking a look at our faith-based systems. Which sun god are we worshiping this decade? Well, guess what? What did we grow? What work have we done? The new idea of the Page of Swords showing up. Are we ready to cut this off? Are we ready to trim? Are we ready to say, yeah, these pentacles look like they're ripe? These ideas, these cultured ideas, this evolutionary idea of things like equality. I actually got bitched at for saying equity. Equity makes it political and makes you very, brr, 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 brr. Go watch MSNBC. What? No. I've got good ideas. Are they ready to be reaped yet? They're new. They're new ideas. Are we going to cut too soon? That's the thing. Well, guess what? Our spiritual evolution is here. You know how I know this? Because I got a 9 card right here and I got a 9 card right here. Be in joy. Be in spirit. Be in joy. Forget the naysayers. Forget the people that say, you're a snowflake. Fuck you. I care about people. Yeah, well, you're not really dealing in reality. By the way, my Facebook feed right now is comic gold. I'm picking them apart, by the way. Well, you're just naive. I'm naive? Well, what do you mean? Well, that's not strength. You're not strong. Oh. Just out of curiosity, how many kids have you adopted? What? Wait, what? Well, you're not strong enough to adopt kids? Because you need to have an emotional IQ. You need to be what they were losing. And by the way, at any given time, they could break down and cry because their entire world was turned upside down in a traumatic sort of way. And that doesn't make me a snowflake. I use my emotional care so that then they have a safe place. You are deflecting because you're not willing to do your own work. The good news is that the man in the red hat will grab you by the you anytime you want. And those of you that got that translator, congratulations. This is a strength. This is the age of Aquarius, guys. This is where we're going to this. We are transforming and we have the tools. We have the divine power of love. Ace of Cups. Then we're going to roll up our sleeves. We're going to grow this the right way. We're going to have new ideas. And guess what? They're not perfect. Some of the ideas are shitty. But sometimes you got to come up with shitty ideas so you get the good ideas. Right? Then, Michelle, I always liked you. Then you have the Hermit card, the highest spiritual evolutionary card in the deck. By the way, he's grabbing that staff. He's carrying it around. He's carrying the light. Right? And then the 9 of Cups. Let me give you my joy. Let me give you my connections. Let me give you my wine. Let me give you give me your tired and your poor. That's what that fucking is. Because I'm emotionally secure enough to say, that's not a torch that she's holding in the New York Harbor. It's a lantern. Anybody else getting this yet? And by the way, the 9 of Cups isn't some gregarious guy that doesn't know when to quit drinking. He's the guy that says, come on in, I have plenty. I love you enough to share with you whatever I have. Why are there homeless people in this country? Because we're not here yet. Why are there people that feel that they have to hurry up and complain because they're going to be disrespected if they don't get their cornbread right. Because they didn't fix that part of themselves. That's the work. That's the work right there. It's the self-evident work that you need to do. Your emotional IQ is your responsibility. Your happiness is your responsibility. Your equity, your spend of time, your success, and your perspective is all your responsibility. We won't be influenced by news. We won't be influenced by a feed. We won't be influenced because I have better things to do than to listen to you. We've been growing this for a long time. We've been growing these ideas for a long time. Some of them are good. Some of them aren't good. Okay. I don't know, Blair Warner. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them all, and there you have. I was definitely a Joe Copernic guy, though. It just was. Joe was kind of saucy and dirty. Just to let you know, Blair was kind of like, yeah. Anyways, back to the good news. And always had a weird thing for Tootie. Anyway, so the part of this that I can't drive home enough is we're here. This is where we are. Like it or not, either you get it or you don't. There are no more remedial groups. There are no more, either you're going to evolve or you ain't. If you're coming with us, I don't mean to be all Joey Porter about, or Joey Tempest about it, but we're leaving together. And still we stand strong. Maybe we'll go to Venus and welcome us all. It's not Venus, guys. Kepler 146 probably, but not that. We can't solve our own problems on this planet. Who the fuck would stop here? Who would share knowledge with us? Who would say, you have good ideas? We don't even have a process down yet. We're too busy pointing fingers and blaming one another and being like, well, that's just the way they are. We have to evolve from just the way they are. Have you noticed how many workarounds there are in life? All you have to do is just, anytime somebody says that, when they're like, oh, here you go. I had a traffic ticket. They screwed up my insurance. I get pulled over and the cop goes, yeah, I got to write you a ticket. You have a lapse of insurance. And I'm like, I thought I cleared this up. I even talked to I did everything I thought I was supposed to do. And sure as shit, he still writes me the ticket. And I go, listen, I even showed him the pay. I go, I have the stuff that says I currently have. He goes, yeah, I know, I had to write the ticket. I already started it. And then he goes, yeah, all you have to do is just go to the courthouse. You know what I said to him? I said, this takes away from me helping other people. And he went, what do you mean? Well, what do you do? It doesn't matter what I do. All you have to do is just go here for 5 hours or 2 hours or whatever it's going to be to talk to the DA and whatever. And I'll show them the proof and they'll write it off and I'll get a $70 slap on the wrist for processing because I didn't have it with me. And, they'll get money and I'll be like, fucking what? All you have to do is just, maybe one of the ideas that we're growing is all you have to do is just mind your own fucking business. Maybe all you have to do is say, I'm drawn to this so I can make an impact. How do you simultaneously be an introvert and help the world? Oh, half of you just went, holy crap, B, that's me. That's where we're at. That's what this is. I'm an introvert, but I'm helping. I'm tending to my garden, but I've got new ideas that I have to push out there. I have to change but I'm doing it because I love you. "500 years from now, the United States won't exist. Just letting you know." The idea of land and ownership and everything else, we're going to be up against something that we can't even fathom right now. And it won't be man-made. It won't be a virus. It won't be a terrorist attack. It won't be anything that we're pushing here. We won't have time for that nonsense anymore. We won't be able to grift on the pain of others. We're going to be faced with the idea of survival and thrival. And we'll say, remember back when we had it made and everything was at our fingertips and it was in a brick in our hand, and we had the world by the short hairs and things were going great. Yeah, why didn't we evolve from that? Oh, we had greedy people. Oh, we had moments where we didn't activate and we didn't help one another. Or we relied on some people that did too much and overextended and burned themselves out and got hurt by the process. Oh, and then when people came up with good ideas that railed against the system, we just talked terrible shit about them until they went away. Gave them an emotional tone. We didn't neutralize them. We just made their emotions not matter. We attacked we assassinated their character. Someday we're going to look back on this time and see what a missed opportunity this was for advancement. And one of the biggest things that keep us back is that we look at everything like an absolutism. We look at it like a Sith Lord. That they only look at it as an absolute. Either it is or it isn't. Right? We're way too complicated for that. Donald Trump, his chart in a vacuum, I would have said has a tremendous amount of leadership capability and could lead us into the next generation. But he chose not to. He is a tragedy to me because his chart is pretty strong. It's flawed. But isn't that how we like people? We want it to be perfect, but not too perfect. We want competition, but we don't want to be in last. What makes us get up in the morning? What makes us hold the door open for others? What makes us give a shit and vote? All of a sudden, we're starting to get somewhere. What's the mechanism that gets us great? We're good on our best day. The way we can make ourselves great is to understand that we've got to do the personal work so that then we can be what the other people in our lives need. Go ahead, rewind and go back to Elizabeth's reading. No. Sharon suggests that we go back to the 70s when life was easy. Let me tell you something. Being born in 1973, when I was 4 years old, I kind of had it together. I mean, I had curly blonde hair and I had blue eyes. I'm just letting you know. I got a lot of free candy. I think, like anything, there were things that made it more difficult. And technology complicates things. I think we've become more complicated as a species, as a human. Maybe that's what you're referring to. I don't disagree with that, but why don't we go back to some of the principles that made us good? I'm taking my kids on vacation, and I have a very specific policy. You are not going to see. You are going to see the state of Minnesota. You are going to visit people you've never met before. These are your relatives. These are people that have welcomed you as a family. And you're not going to find them in your phone. And you're not going to find them in a video game. You need to look them in the eye. You need to shake their hand. You need to joke with them. You need to see how many cheese curds you can eat. Which cousin can eat the most amount of cheese curds? Oh, I've got my money on the 12-year-old. Holy shit. He'll be constipated for a decade after this trip. And trust me, that's about right. But for the love of God, where are we at with this? Oh, I love that. Carol knocked it out of the park. We need to be guided by inner authority, not by the wounded. And listen, we're all wounded. I'll take wounded. Again, Mr. President, Madam Vice President, what have you learned from your mistakes? What would you do differently next time? Can you look yourself in the eye and say that you made a mistake? What have you learned from your mistake? Well, I'll never use that person again. I'll never deal with that governor. Oh, Jeanette, it's so sweet and so good. What did you learn from those mistakes? Well, I learned that I need to take different accountability, and maybe my communication needs to be a little bit different. Maybe I need to set the expectation before instead of in the middle, because that would help their approach be different. Maybe I need to ask questions along the way. Maybe I need to take on different responsibility. Interesting. And I'll wrap this up with one last political commentary. I think it's funny. I saw this in my travels, and it came to me. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I saw a Trump flag at half mast, and I just burst out laughing. And I don't think it was intentional, but like I said it, and then I saw one that was dropped a little bit, and I went, "Is that what's going on here? You're half mast." All right, Lady Ann, thanks so much for tuning in. Patty, Mama O, Rare, thanks so much for joining us. Jeanette, thank you again. Knocked it out of the park. Carol, Kelly, great to see you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, I'm going to be off the chart a little bit. I'm going to have a couple of videos uploaded. I'm doing a quick couple of things tomorrow, so that you know that I still exist here. But share with your friends. Let them know how this stuff goes. tbrandonruss.com. Go hit the website. Go ahead and set up a reading. By the way, it counts for astrology, counts for, if you want to do some tarot stuff, you want to shoot the breeze, you want to connect with the loved ones. Ange, good to see you, love. Thank you guys for being part of my journey. Michelle, thank you so much. Heart taps to everybody out there, and remember to keep going. I'll see you soon. Take care.